So I see a video going around telling people that the police can stop you and search you under different laws like the Customs Act or the Agricultural Produce Act or the Firearms Act, but that's not how it works. So I'm going to be talking in this video about what the law says about when it is the police can search you. Thank you so much for joining me courtside. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. So have you ever had the police stop you and say they want to search you or search your vehicle? If so, did you ask them any questions? What did they say in response? And let me know in the comments, alright? And also want to know what you think about the police doing stop and searches. Now, of course, the police can stop you, they can search you, they can even lock you up. But despite what people are telling you, they can't do that just because they feel like. Or maybe I should say they can't lawfully do that just because they feel like. The law on stopping and searching people in Jamaica was made very clear by a 2013 ruling in a case called Gary Hemans. That ruling was handed down by Justice David Batts. So here's what happened. Mr. Hemans and his family were leaving Helsha Beach on the night of May 16, 2007 when he was stopped by police. Now what Mr. Hemans said happened and what the police said happened were two different things. Horse of a different color, as one of my friends likes to say. So the judge said he believed Mr. Hemans. So here's Mr. Hemans' account of what happened as accepted by the judge. Now, as I said, Mr. Hemans and his family were leaving Helsha Beach in the night and he was stopped by police. 3 policemen jumped out of their jeep and told him to come out of the car. Now, Mr. Hemans, his niece and 2 small nephews got out of the car. His friend, Chris, was driving another car, stopped to find out what was going on. The police told him get out of that car too. Now, by that time, the children are crying. Everybody comes out, hands in the air. Mr. Hemans has a brother named Chad who was driving a car at the front. Now Chad comes back to find out what has happened. And then Chad says, Gary, what is the problem? We can't even come to Jamaica, come enjoy ourselves. Every turn you turn a police and every time they stop us is money they want. At that point, one of the police officers said to Chad, "I hold you long boy," and drape up Chad in his waist. So Chad told the policeman to let him go. The policeman pushed down Chad. Mr. Hemans said at this point now, his mother is crying, Chad's wife is crying. And Mr. Hemans says, "Officer, we're no gunman, we're no thief. I'm a brother, I'm a family." And he also said, "I feel so secure when me see you drive in a premises, but how you behave now make me feel insecure." He said they kept behaving aggressively. So he said to them, "Officer, I shouldn't have a gun over we while not behave so." So one policeman then put his gun in the jeep. He came back. He hit Mr. Hemans in the chest. He hit him in the face. And then he said, "You say if I true me have my gun, why me go on so? See me put down my gun there." The policeman then started draping him up and saying he was going to arrest Mr. Hemans for assaulting the police. So Mr. Hemans asked him, "How me could assault you and you hit me in my face?" So that policeman and another policeman now started to hit Mr. Hemans, then box him, they hit him all over his body. They took him to Portmore police station and they locked him up. This was 10 minutes to 11 o'clock in the night. He didn't get bail until the following day, 11 o'clock in the night. So he said he told the police on duty at the station that he had been beaten up, but nobody took a report from him. Also, they had put him in the holding area of the guard room. So anybody who came into the police station and knew him saw him there. In addition, while they were processing him at the police station, 2 policemen told him to take off his clothes and to squat down. So he had to strip naked and squat down in a corner. And as you can imagine, he felt humiliated and he felt embarrassed. He didn't know why he had been stopped. The police hadn't asked for his papers, hadn't told him it was a spot check. He did go to see a doctor after he had been bailed, so there was medical evidence as well before the court. And he went to court 6 times. The police didn't turn up. And it wasn't until the 6th time that the case was dismissed for want of prosecution. Now let me say something here. This happens all the time. People take days off work to go to court only to have police not turn up. This happens especially in traffic court. And the court allows this because the judges keep adjourning the matters for the policemen to come. It's foolishness and it's disrespectful of people who have to come to court or risk having a bench warrant issued for them and having themselves arrested. Why on earth should Mr. Hemans have had to come to court 6 times before the matter was thrown out? Really and truly, if the matter is called up the first time and police are not there and there is no excuse, no explanation given, the matter should be thrown out right then and there. Maximum 2 times. That's it. Anyway, Mr. Hemans couldn't go back to work for 4 weeks after he had been beaten up because he was in pain. He was a taxi driver. Now, this is what the judge said. The judge found the state liable to Mr. Hemans for assault, false imprisonment, and malicious prosecution. The judge said there was no reasonable or probable cause to stop him, to arrest him, or to charge him. He hadn't committed any breach of the peace. He hadn't committed a felony. He had not even committed a misdemeanor. There was no reason to assault him or to arrest or charge him. The judge said that the action of the police officers in relation to Mr. Hemans wasn't self-defense. They weren't defending any other person, nor was there any breach of the peace that was threatened or was in progress. The police officers responded with excessive force and in an unlawful manner to words of protest that came from Mr. Hemans and his passengers when they were stopped and searched. Now, the judge pointed to Section 15 of the Constitution and what it says about our right to liberty. What it says is no person shall be deprived of his personal liberty except in certain circumstances. One of those circumstances is upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed or being about to commit a criminal offense. For example, if police see you climbing in through my bedroom window at midnight, it is reasonable to suspect that you are about to commit a crime. If you are driving along the road within the speed limit, not breaking any laws whatsoever, there is no reasonable suspicion there that should cause them to search you. The judge also said it is still the law of this nation that persons under the Queen's peace are entitled to freedom from search of their person or property unless such a search is legally justified. He said, I hold it is not a lawful reason to stop and search a car based on the fact that cars with similar features are often stolen and used in the commission of a crime, which was the excuse the police gave for stopping and searching Mr. Hemans' crime. They said that that kind of car was used to commit crimes. Now, what is reasonable suspicion? Now, this is a critical part. Reasonable suspicion has to have something to do with you or what you are doing. It has to be specific to you. This is how the judge put it. The judge said the reasonable cause to suspect that an individual has or is about to commit a crime must relate to peculiar characteristics of the person or the vehicle he is driving or the manner in which it is operating or to information received. In Jamaica, the citizen is free to move about without an obligation to carry a pass and is not to be subject to arbitrary or random search. This is still a constitutional guarantee. So no, the police cannot lawfully stop you and say they are conducting the search under the Agricultural Produce Act or under the Larceny Act because they're looking for stolen goods. No, that's how it goes. There has to be something that you have done that creates reasonable suspicion. So Mr. Hemans won his case against the government. He was awarded over $2.6 million in damages. I wish I could tell you that since the Hemans case, we no longer have situations where unlawful stop and searches are carried on. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you that. Let me say something though, because I know there are going to be people who are saying, but why would anybody object to being stopped and searched by the police if they haven't done anything wrong? I have no problem with letting the police stop and search me. Well, if it is that you agree and you consent to a search by the police, that's fine. Just don't try and impose your agreement on somebody else. Other people might very well have legitimate reasons for not wanting the police to search them or search their vehicle right? That has nothing to do with any kind of criminal intent or criminal offense. For instance, somebody might object to being profiled or stereotyped because they look a certain way and because they drive a certain vehicle and they don't look like an uptown Richmond Browning, for instance. Or it may be that somebody simply takes their constitutional rights very seriously and does not want to be searched if the police cannot explain what is a reasonable suspicion on which they want to search you. One of the important takeaways from this, though, we really need to know our rights and we need to know what questions to ask if it is that the police stop us and want to search us. What is a reasonable suspicion on which you stop me, on which you want to search me, officer? What's the basis on which you want to search my vehicle? What is it about my vehicle or about me or about how I'm behaving that has given rise to reasonable suspicion? What is a reasonable suspicion? It's also important that we have a constitution that protects our rights and we have a Supreme Court that protects the Constitution and upholds the Constitution. I'm going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me courtside. I'm Dion Jackson Miller. I'll see you next time.